Cage Boilie, remember who started this first, experimental angler. We get these on Temu. They do large and small. These are the large ones. They're about 13, 14 mil by about 9 mil. Now, first thing you do is cut that little, where the line goes through there, you cut that off. First thing you do, you put a stopper on your line, float stopper, ledger stopper. I always use the ICS system. Then put your top on, put your stem on. Now, I used to just use a swivel. The reason I use a swivel is it keeps it nice and short, because I used to use the Preston hook lengths and they're 100 mil and I think they were too long. So if you put a snap link swivel on, it means they're too long. So hence I've gone for the short swivels. I used to just have it direct and the swivel would sit in there a little bit. But I've got these off Temu as well, these little caps. And if you can see there, if I zoom in, it just protects the knot. And also with it being a dome, that dome sits nicely in there. So it's only, by the time the dome sits, it's only about 2.5 mil, if that. And there's a bit of an advantage of having another 2-3 mil actually, because these are the Carp and Specimen hooks. 80 and 90 mil the hook length, so that's why I don't mind that. So it's two reasons. It's making it a tiny bit longer. You really need to use these. What you need is quite a long hair. Now on the Guru QM1s, which is my favourite one, they're quite short. You need a biggish bait band and quite a long hair. So what you do is put your hook line on first, just a loop, so it's the hook's on. You have to put your hook length through the swivel first, otherwise if you put the cage on first and then try to put your hook length on, obviously the cage won't go through the loop. It's just a neater, better way. Remember, it's all about hooking the fish. I think it works better hooking the fish if it's as shortest hook length you can get. We've got the band puller through. It's just going to get pulled through there with a band like that. And basically that's it. Take your band puller off and we're ready to go on. That's basically the rig. Now the great thing about this is it's so versatile. Believe it or not, you can put pellets in there, just as your normal pellet. You could put 3mm pellets in, you could put expanders in, you can put ground bait in, you can put bread in, you could even put 3 pieces of corn in there. You would still catch on corn, I reckon, definitely. You can put luncheon meat in there. But what I'm going to do, you'll have to watch me separate video for this. It's a paste, it's a special paste, it's clean paste. It's a mixture of pellets and ground bait, but it's designed actually for feeder fishing. It's like a paste what the chub fishermen use, but I've made one out of pellets and ground bait, and it's quite clean, it doesn't come off. So basically I'm just going to squash me paste into there like that, and it'll squeeze out, and then we're ready to go. That there, fish comes along there now. It sucks it in, and it's hook's always lying on the floor. That's another great thing about this rig, is the hook's always lying on the floor. So that there is your Cage Boilie, started by the experimental angler, Tony. You can put a bomb on there, you can put a Preston hybrid feeder on there, or you can put a pellet feeder on and have, pellet feeder and have some, if you've got bread in there, you can have some bread shooting out in this direction. The great thing about the pellet feeder is it pushes bait out one way and your hook is that direction. So fish comes along from this direction and your bait is right where the bread's ejected, or the pellets have ejected, or some pieces of luncheon meat have ejected. So it's such a good system that, and I think this system will work well with a pellet feeder. Now there's yet another advantage to this system. If you get this underlaid step run, sell it in B&Q, get a bread punch and punch some out that fits inside of there and just put one piece in the middle. When you squeeze your paste in, actually sit off the bottom like that. Your hook will be there and it'll actually be semi-floating. It'll just have a bit of buoyancy. That's another little trick you can do. You can put a little piece of buoyancy in the middle there. The fish can't see it. What's important is this hair rig length to the band, from the hook to the band. It doesn't want to be too long and it doesn't want to be too short. Now I've been using these, the Drennan Method Bandits. Note, they are different from the Carp Method Bandits. And what's different is the poundage. £10 versus £8. But there's another difference. Look at the difference in the length of the hair. Yeah, they're very short on the carp ones, very long on the... If you're fishing in a commercial where there's a big carp, you really want £10 line. But they're too short, really, for the cage to work. So what you can do, if you get some Drennan Method Bandits in a size 8, you've got the same length as they are the same length, trust me, I've measured them. Yeah. But then in a size 8, if you're allowed, you can go up to £10. But that's about the ideal length there from the hook. Don't measure from there because it's difficult. From the bottom of the hook to the top of the band is about 5.5, 6 mil. I've been doing a bit of testing, quite a lot of testing actually, because it's not just these 6 rigs. Each one I've been trying on different holes and different amount of holes, if you get what I mean. So I've tried it in just the end one, through the middle ones, through this end ones, you know, because you can have it further up the hook or at the bottom of the hook, if you know what I mean. So this was the first one I tried, the King Carp. You get 3 for £3.50. Department store called Boys. The great thing about these, all of them, you just put the loop over the hook, you know, which is very handy for what I want, because all I want to do is keep it nice and simple and just put the hook through the loop. So I've been testing how loose they are, how far apart they are from the loop, and sort of like putting them down like that, picking it up, dropping it. Does it reset? Picking it up, dropping it. Does it reset? How flexible is it to the hook? You know, I want it to lift up without much flex. I don't want any resistance really. I want the least amount of resistance. I know it's just going to be full of paste or luncheon meat or bread, but I still want it. Don't forget, I've already got plastic. I want it light. So that one felt pretty good. And then I started doing the hand test. So then I went on to the Westlake. These are from Go Outdoors, and they're a blowback rig, very long. They have a little kicker on. Again, I just experiment in different ways. Being a blowback rig, you get a little eye on the hook like that. Let me see it there. See the little eye? On one. You do this one first. I just went through the second hole and out and wrapped it over like that. Maybe I can sort of show you. Then I tried a little mini link. I can zoom in there. Can you see it now? In that eye is a mini link. Yeah. So it just goes through the last ring there, and it goes through the eye on the blowback. This version where it just goes that's in the second hole and out the end. Because of this kicker, it did have very good tests on the palm test. So the next one I did was a Corda Basics. Dead easy again. I've gone in the end and out the end, basically, that one. Dug in. So that one worked very good, and it's a nice sharp hook. So yeah, I mean, just the fact that you can have something that will be so much bait in there that you don't have to worry about, you know. If it's a hard fishery, or if it's cold, or if the fish aren't feeding, you don't have to keep reeling in every 5 minutes to check your boilie, or to check your luncheon meat, or to check your paste. That's the beauty of the cage system. You get your bait inside there and around there. You know that it's going to be on for like half an hour. That's the great thing about it. So you're not constantly lifting a line through your swim, spooking fish, you know, pulling your bait through, reeling in, you know. You've got none of that. You can just be rest assured. And even if there's weed or twigs in, or any kind of debris or rocks, you know, it's going to be more visible than I would say, you know, a sweet corn or a boilie. Now I went on to Supernaturals, and these are short. So these are designed for PVA bags. In the third one, this one, and out the end. Did I try it different on that one? On one, look, there's no resistance at all. It picks up really light. Now we're on to the PVA ones. Now these are ESP, obviously very short. I went on this one, I went in the second one and right through. Now these, like the Guru QM1s, what'll happen is, if you can get this cage out, it'll reset. Fish takes it for whatever reason, it blow it back and you get done basically. It'll reset. You've still got luncheon meat in there. Another fish is going to come along and take it, or bread, or sweet corn, or paste, whatever, you know. It might take a bit of paste off, but there'll still be enough paste in there to get another take. You stay in the water and just reset until one fish gets hooked. So this one's a good one, digs in every time. And I think that'll have a good reset every time. So yeah, quite like that one. I noticed I did have a little, I've never done carp fishing, so this is all new to me. So I made up my own hook length with £10 line, and I done my first D-rig, but I haven't got a lighter to. But the thing about it was, I only went through in and out, so it's just like one square. That's it there. So it's just going in the second one and out the fourth one, so it's like that. Different length hoops on there, so we'll find out. With different lengths of that eye, and maybe some a little bit further up the hook, if you know what I mean. Some sticking down the hook, some up the hook. I could have it kind of quite high on the hook there, for example, or I could have it on the middle area there, or I could have it quite low there, or I could have it how I've done on this one and just have it through the end, so it's on the ends rather than in any kind of middle. You know, there's a chance that it could actually drop up like that. Look, a good chance that could happen. That mightn't be a bad thing actually. Looks quite full of luncheon meat, full of bread, full of paste. That might look a lot more natural than that, or who knows. But yeah, these things I've got to work out different scenarios, and also how much it's away from the hook, how much play, how much far, what position and how far away from the hook. How much do we want? Do we want it to be tight? Do we want it to be 5-6 mil like a boilie? Do we want it to be a bit long? Probably the last thing I'll work on, once I get this right, I'll work on the hook length. So every time someone's picking up my Cage Boilie, it's getting nailed every time. So that's it. That's Tony's Cage Boilie rig. This is going to be a bomb. This is going to be a big thing. But just remember who started it. The experimental angler, Tony. See my other videos. Look at my playlists. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure some of you will find it useful and makes it all worthwhile.